All right. Welcome everyone to the Ultra High Net Worth Clients Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Broadhead. So normally we have financial advisors as guests on the show, but we're branching out to something that all financial advisors seem to be interested in, and that is business owners. Today we have an amazing business owner on, a self-made man, Max Levy. Max, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. I'm really excited to dive deep and do everything I can to give everyone an insight into the life of a founder. I am. I don't know if I'm quite qualified to ultra net worth individual, but uh, I'm gonna hang out with a lot of them, so I don't know if that helps.
Yeah.
Um, so you might want to call this like a high net worth farming program.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Soon to be high net worth.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I have I founded my business in 2020.
Hmm.
I'm originally, and before that, I was actually working. Well, my first job actually wasn't working with Merrill Lynch and AXA, way back. That was my first experience, and then I worked with a couple other Fortune 500 companies. Landed at like CBRE doing commercial real estate, and realized that these jobs would kill me from the inside out. And, I think I needed to build my dream, and that's really what kind of pushed me to build my business. I think it's a very long journey. I'm more than glad to answer questions any way I can. But I guess the first thing you want to know is more than likely, I guess, like, you want me to explain my business, or what are you most curious about to begin with?
I'm curious how you became a business owner. What inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
I don't know, like, it's interesting when you have like when you're really young, your gut, like your intuition's so strong. Like once you get past the whole like rocket ships and firefighter, policeman phase or whatever kids want to be NBA players or something, even though you're white. Uh Once you get past all that, then you realize, like, okay, what excites me? What am I super fascinated with? And I mean, for me, I always kind of just knew I was gonna run a business, or be a business owner of some sort. And then I guess I was hustling like candy. Like, they banned candy in junior high, so I started kind of selling that to make some extra bucks. So both my parents are deaf. My first language.
Andy. No, I'm just-
No, I promise it was nothing. But yeah. So both my parents were deaf, and my first language was sign language.
Mm.
So I was kind of left, being the oldest of three kids, to figure a lot of things out on my own, and help my family out. Anything I wanted to buy, it was kind of up to me to figure out how to buy it. So that's a great way to motivate yourself to get shit done, and get a car or get clothes or whatever you wanted. So I always kind of sort around with like problem solving, and try to figure out creative solutions, creative problem solving. Uh, so yeah, I mean, when you have a unique perspective on things, I think you begin to see opportunity everywhere, and you ask why a lot too. When like, for example, growing up the way I did, I couldn't really go to my parents and say, like, why, why X, why this. Like, they couldn't really give me much of an answer. So I was just always exploring, learning, trying to get these answers for myself. And maybe is that natural curiosity, or the ability to like solve my own problems and forge my own way, that made me a leader. But I think I always knew that I was meant to leave an impact and do something, do something to leave the world better than I found it. Uh, so yeah, I mean, fast forward. I mean, I went through an extended certificate of entrepreneurship. It's part of why I went to the University of Houston. They have a really strong entrepreneurship program. So I always kind of knew I had like a fascination in it. And I guess I mean I failed math every year in high school, and I realized that if I want to be a business owner one day, numbers can't be another language to me. It's something that you need to be fluent in, or at least understand if you're going to ever like run and scale a business. So I actually make it in economics and finance, and kind of slay that dragon, and barely struggled through all that. But I did all that because I always knew, like, hey, one day I'm going to be doing my own thing. I can't just be a cog in the wheel, or I can't rely on someone to hire me and maintain this. So I would definitely say it was the road less traveled, and I kept trying to force myself into other people's boxes, or maybe even I tried to, I made a lot of decisions despite other people too, unfortunately. Like, for example, everyone always told me I was really good at marketing and sales. Like, man, you'd be a great salesman. And I was so offended by that, and I didn't know why. Maybe it was just because I think once again, the entrepreneur thing of like somebody, and I hate that word entrepreneur in general. It's so like, especially back in America, like it's beat death, and it's kind of gross now. But if you have this like kind of uh I should say entrepreneurial mindset, then you do tend to want to do things on your own. You can't you typically don't do well with other people forcing you to do things and telling you what to do. And I don't know, man. I On top of all that, I think the final kind of nail in the coffin is when you look at like probability, like when I was studying economics, stats is a big part of that too. And you look at the probability of becoming wealthy. It's very, very slim for 9 to 5ers. Just it just doesn't. Like, I was looking at all these career paths, and it didn't seem like there was a way out. I mean, the city I grew up in, Houston, was like a really corporate city, lots of corporate minded people, and I think you barely knew anybody who was a multimillionaire. It was such a very rare, like, man, this guy is really special, and anyone who was a millionaire, for the most part, already my friends, I didn't grow up with much, but I had friends who did grow up with more than enough. They were very blessed, and when I would go play with them and go into some of their houses, I just remember being in awe and thinking, like, man, what do you have to do to get this? And almost every time it was like, yeah, they owned hotels, they owned real estate, they started a law firm, they did something on their own. It was never like, hey, I work for this. I'm the CEO of
Mm-hmm.
what, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm director or VP. It was always like, dude, they had a dream and they crushed it. Um, and so observing that was really, I think, where at the core it started. And it's always been important to me too. I think when I picture myself as a like when you're younger and you try to envision, the best version of yourself, or maybe you want to be in 10 years. Um, when I look at that, like the undeniable version of Max, he's like free, like truly free, financially free, location independent. He does whatever he wants, whatever serves him, fulfills him, and helps him be the best version of himself. And when I'm picturing that man, or I can never imagine him, or like even like my wife and children one day, like looking at their father or their husband or whoever I'm interacting with, and me being like, oh, sorry, we can't go to the beach today because I have to ask another man for permission to go hang out today or extend our family, whatever it is we want to do. The way that programs people is really interesting. And it's just something that really lit a fire in my ass. Like, that's not going to be, I have to do things. I have to build something for myself that I know no one can ever take away from me. And it's everything but the easy way out, but I know it'll pay off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with so much of that. In grad school, like I always knew I had entrepreneur like aspect to me, but in grad school we learned like all of the salaries of like the bank teller and like the bank manager and then the bank owner, and the bank owner made like 100 times as much as like everyone else, and I was like, well, why are we even talking? We should all just be the bank owner. What are we even doing here? I was like, I'm gonna be that guy.
uh, when I was in wealth management, part of why I made the switch to commercial real estate, I had some inputs to do like in university and in fraternity and stuff. But I remember we were cold calling high net worth individuals, and every time we asked them to use our investment vehicle, they would always say like, well, I invest in real estate, and I was like, what am I doing asking people for money when I should just do something in real estate? And it seems to be like these doctors, lawyers, whoever they are, they bust their ass all their life to just invest in real estate, So it just to me, like, why not just meet them at the finish line, take a taxi and just be like, yo, I'm already here. Like nice. We figured it out, instead of I guess doing it the other way, which is, the typical get a career, save up some money, you buy your first investment property, you slowly, it seems like everyone kind of ended up in the same place one way or another, which I thought was really interesting.
Hmm. Nice. So you were crushing it and also getting just crushed spiritually, working for the man. When did you finally say enough is enough and go out on your own? And what inspired that?
Yeah, man, I actually ended up in the hospital,
Mm.
and everything was kind of falling apart. I didn't belong there. I remember the minute I lost enthusiasm after the first week, because I showed up. This is like, a dream company. Everyone in commercial real estate wants to work with CBRE, and I had so many people to the day even like after I left, emailing me, reaching out to me on LinkedIn saying, hey man, can you give me a job here? This is a dream position, congratulating me when I was working there, all this stuff. And I remember I sat down and I tried to make it a point to interview a few of the senior guys in the office. And I asked them wow, I'm trying to remember the exact question I asked them. It was basically like, do you how I asked them how long they've been here, and then it was always the answer was always like they were there for a long time, they were senior. And then I said, what do you find most fulfilling about this career path, or what excites you the most about what you do every day, or something along those lines, trying to like gather some sort of inspiration or wisdom or something. And the answers were really sad and disappointing every time. They just kind of like chuckled and they were like, pays the bills, like puts the kids
Uh,
and like actually,
God.
like honestly, I'm not even really pumped about this. Like if I could do something, I would do something different. And that's when I was just like, the rose colored sunglasses popped off, and I was like, damn, this is. I mean, nothing. The grass is always greener. Nothing is what it appears to be unless you build it yourself.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, dealing with that, I had a very, good old boys kind of club, which I always try to force myself into. And I mean, I can get along with anybody, make friends with anybody. So I was grateful and blessed to be able to get myself into those circles and those opportunities. But the reality of the fact is like that wasn't who I am. I've never been a good old boy, never will be a good old boy. My kids sure as hell won't. They're gonna go through hell, and I'll make them figure things out the hard way one way or another. Um, but I think adversity is truly what breeds character. Well, I mean, one thing I always say is a quote I made up. Trauma breeds humor, and adversity breeds character. So you got to have a nice kind of balance of both if you want to be an interesting human. And Yeah, I think like it was so freaking hard for me to relate to these guys. And it wasn't like, oh, they were standing over there and they were so cool and I wish I could have been a part of them. I just like, I mean, you can't fake uh if it's not authentic, they're gonna feel that. Like if I'm not genuinely interested in UT baseball, they're not gonna be like pumped to bring me in a conversation about something that I could give less of a fuck about, you know?
Hmm.
And that's just tended to be the case with most of the people I interacted with. It was just like, man, this conversation blows and you're lame as hell. But I'm gonna try office together. And I always did find a way to add value to them and make myself interesting to them. But it wasn't authentic to me once again, and that alone will kill you from the inside out. But yeah, I think you so like when you're surrounded with all these people you don't relate with, and it's a very toxic culture because of just like the nature of the beast of like just like kind of little boys club type of deal. It was incredibly political, lots of gossip, lots of negativity, and that energy alone like is, I mean, this is scientifically proven. Everyone knows energy, you know from humans, it can be measured. Like everyone puts off like a frequency and a vibration, like this is proven by science. I'll take my word for it. And there's no way that you cannot be sensitive to that. If everyone around you is depressed and negative, it's going to affect you no matter how resilient you are and how optimistic you are. It's really difficult. And I was dealing with, my like I guess from all angles, like I have like my family stuff going on. There's always pressure coming from that. I have to help my parents out with all these different things. And then, I was in a toxic relationship and, toxic work culture and even work-life balance. So everything was just collapsing on top of me. And I was told it was great though, because I worked at this nice job and I had a nice office and I got to, brag about whatever meaningless, worthless thing you could want to brag about, I guess, is why it's all worthwhile at the end of the day. And that cortisol quite literally rotted me from the inside out. It's the most toxic thing to put in your body, and I ended up in the hospital due to an ulcer in my small intestine. I was actually on bed rest for a long time, and the doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me. The office didn't give us, they did get less than a thought. They actually ended up letting me go. They actually ended up letting me go. They weren't even remotely concerned with, how I was going to resolve this, or, they didn't check up on me months later and say, "I hope everything's okay. How are you? Or we want to help you with this." It was like quite literally, what is it like that Disney thing? Or it's an old Christmas tale where you see the ghosts of Christmas past and all that shit. But it was like I was a fast forward into when you die
Hmm.
and your office replaces you in a week. They send out an email and you're replaced. Like it was the exact same sentence. Like I could have died and they could have killed us, and it was a nice kind of accelerator through that kind of realization. It almost gave me kind of a second wind or like a second chance at life, because I would
Hmm.
have died 100 and 1700s. They definitely wouldn't be able to pinpoint and resolve that horrible infection, and that would have taken me out. I would have had like sepsis or something. And I'm really grateful that I didn't. But when you come out of something like this, it is kind of like a sort of like midlife crisis, kind of a new lease on life type of mentality. And I just remember here thinking, I have nothing to lose. I literally, you know, the relationship imploded, the job imploded. I I didn't even have enough time to find a new apartment because my old living situation blew up, and that was really toxic too. So it's just kind of like a Grand Theft Auto, like my save game got deleted. I had all this like lost it all, gained a bunch of weight. Like it was terrible.
Oh
So
man.
look, like I have literally nothing to lose. How can I become undeniable? How can I become that man that I imagine myself to be? Now I have no other opinions or all these other social obligations, relationship obligations weighing me down and being that voice in your ear. Um, so I actually started a consulting business, kind of doing something similar to like Alex Ramos's gym launch model. Well, no, actually, I started doing apartment from the bed when I was sick, which is kind of like
Nice.
through up my startup. Like I had my license and I knew I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was working for somebody else, just kind of hustling a little bit. And then once I got back on my feet, actually one of my friends from college approached me, one of my colleagues, and he was like, "Hey man, once again, like the natural talent, like, hey, you're a really good salesman. I'm building this little online business. Do you want to work with me?" And he was doing the Hermos and Gym Launch kind of model, and he brought me into it. And he basically had me be the client facing aspect of it and do everything from like the sales to the relationship building with the business owners and uh, even some of the strategy and it evolved into a full-blown consulting business. I did have some entrepreneurship background, and one thing I noticed in working with a lot of these gym owners and yoga studio owners um, was they didn't know how to run a business, and they really need help in a lot more ways than just automating their CRM and doing some marketing and advertising. So I guess from there, uh, it's, it evolved into this full-blown consulting agency for mostly, I mean, I really got into mindfulness and health during this time, as well, and when I was kind of reshaping my life. And I was really passionate about helping these yoga studios kind of spread their word and try to impact as many people as possible. So it was very easy to sell for them. They could see my passion and how excited I was genuinely to help them. I believe that what they were doing was great for society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
One of my clients was Mission Yoga, the oldest yoga studio in San Francisco. And that was like basically the yoga mecca of America. Like they were pretty much the first yoga studio. So I kind of took that and like rebranded them as San Francisco's original yoga studio. They were blowing up and we had them, going over double their revenue and things were going great. And we had a bunch of other clients as a result of that too on the West Coast. And then COVID hits, and gyms were the first thing to go and the last thing to come back, particularly on the West Coast. So
Oh man.
yeah, and it was like right when we started getting traction too. But this is
Yeah.
constant life lesson. I think like so many people would have been in that position and said, "Fuck this, I've got to get a job." But
Yeah.
when you spent your whole life gathering yourself up from nothing and kind of, figuring your way out, having these critical thinking skills, problem solving skills. Uh, it, it seems like less of a life shattering, kind of something happened to you versus just like, hey, this is another obstacle, another challenge. Here's some more adversity for me. How do I want to, master this? And I was actually kind of excited for the challenge in a way. Because I remember I actually shared one of my favorite quotes from The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
And amidst the chaos, there's always opportunity. So
Mm.
really set on finding this opportunity. I was like, man, things are getting shaken up. Where's the dust going to settle? And I was really determined and excited to kind of find that out and kind of go do that on my own. So yeah, like I mentioned, I studied economics and I used to work with CBRE. So like I looked at a lot of the data my whole time. I was working with them. They had these market reports coming out every month. And I remember seeing like multifamily real estate was up and to the right, like into perpetuity forever. Like with no end in sight. And I was just like, man, like what do they know that we don't know? I don't understand like how demand can just continue to increase exponentially like this, you know. And then COVID hit, and I knew, you know, the housing market was already struggling. So I said, man, this is going to become a renting economy for sure. You know, people on top of the fact that like people are going to get foreclosed on, people are going to lose their jobs as things after the election. I think a lot of the dust is going to settle, and a lot of this like kind of these rose-colored sunglasses they're finally going to come off, and people are going to realize like, hey, this is the real state of our economy. And if not, then at the very least, AI will be replacing a lot of people. So either way, their confidence in their ability to pay a mortgage certainly isn't going to be increasing anytime soon. I feel like these sentiments are continuing to come to fruition every day. You know, I think now I just saw a report that over 50% of renters in the United States, I think this was according to Bloomberg, 50% of renters in the United States don't believe that they will own a home within their lifetime. So
That's a sad stat.
A lot of stats like this, yeah, it's fucking depressing. And
Yeah.
but I'm seeing dollars.
That's kind of an art of war quote there.
But I know what helping help a lot of people. Why I created apartment hacking. You know, so what apartment hacking is we can improve your quality of life by helping you find 1 or 2 months free rent in luxury high rises across the city. And if you're smart, you can put this money aside to save up for a mortgage or a down payment on a home. And you know, this is the end of our client success journey for us is to build that relationship with you, build that trust with you, and get you into a home one way or another. Because I believe everyone should be sovereign and own land and kind of be in control of their own destiny, you know, instead of being at the whim of the real estate renters market. So I fully support the American dream and this idea that everyone should buy a home, and you know, this utilities marketplace that we're building on the back end is really kind of set to do just that, to really help people build the financial tools, maybe the credit background, credit history, maybe get in touch with the right lenders, get in touch with some great financial resources to help them feel really comfortable about their first home purchase, or maybe even just like another home purchase if they were once in a home but lost it or whatever happened. And if not, I mean, they're happy with renting. We're glad to help them there too. But I could not in good conscience, you know, lean completely on this renting future without, you know, doing at least what I believe is my part in helping people access this freedom that I believe in so firmly myself as well. So it's been great. We actually have helped several of our clients go from renter to owner, which is eventually we're going to build a second kind of separate entity called owner, and we help people buy their first home. So specifically pointing at first time home buyers.
Okay, so it's called RenteR, and what exactly does it do?
So essentially, we got to make the apartment finding process for renters in the United States, mostly focused in Texas. There, and there's not really much need to go elsewhere for the time being until we scale up. But we're not like a traditional, you know, I think everyone wants an app nowadays. And we looked into it, and I actually did have an app built out by my UX team, and it looked really nice. But I just, the more I thought about it, the more I realized like this is so redundant. You know, how many apps do you have on your phone? You can't even count them. You know,
I don't use any of them.
And actually, what's interesting about the app world is there's a couple of key factors that people aren't taking in when you create an app. It's hilarious. People are so fucking smart, but they cannot put themselves in their users' shoes to save their lives. You know, and my iPhone, I'm thinking like, dude, so many of these apps can't even give me notifications because they're like thrown up in the cloud because I haven't used them in a month, you know? So it's like, what's the point of forcing someone to download your app if they're not going to get the notification anyway, you know? The key
Yeah.
is to their inbox and nurture their relationship through their inbox. And that's why I really like this SMS interface that we use. It's all texting. It feels really personal. It is mostly automated, but we do intervene and we kind of help them throughout the process, and we'll probably create a high ticket kind of or like a premium service for people who do want that hands-on experience than anybody else who just want the deals. Then we can help them just plug them in the deals and get them out the door. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on your question.
So RenteR connects people looking for apartments with available apartments matching their parameters, like automatically automated using automation.
Yeah. So try to make it as smooth as possible, and get them the data and the information they need as quickly as possible, and then we'll try and help point them in the right direction based on their specific needs. We also plan on utilizing a lot of other cool kind of like quizzes, personality stuff to help steer you toward something that might be the most fulfilling for you. And this is something that's really exciting with AI in general. I think eventually AI will play a massive role in this process, and we're doing everything we can to kind of be the front run that trend, and get ahead of it. So that way, when you type into AI, we're the best people to go to find an apartment in my city. We can get on the short list, which it's going to be quite a challenge. But I think if we get the right people in place, we can definitely service the community and really add a ton of value to people. I think I'm sorry, that's kind of why I got on my tangent in the first place. When we're talking about automating and dealing with AI, I think it can be very impersonal a lot of the time, and it's really important for us to try and build something that's really useful, but at the same time very user friendly, very intuitive, and gives them exactly what they need when they need it. And we want to just continue to try and add value every way we can. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that through not just helping you find an apartment, but through giving you the best prices for moving companies, internet providers, electricity, cable, you name it. There's so many things you can do to make you feel like your needs are met and you're being heard and you're not just another number.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, we are coming towards the end of our time. Max, everything you're saying, man, is pulling out of me like 5 similar stories. So you are preaching the good word here, my friend. My second to last question for you, do you have a financial advisor? And if not, do you think you'll have one down the road or want one down the road?
I don't right now. Definitely do not. It's something that everyone needs, if not in-house. I mean, it's a little different for business owners, because they're like, business owners are very particular about who they trust. A lot of them will kind of try outsource that to their accounting team or something. But I think it is something that I could definitely see myself considering in the future, because I mean the fact of the matter is, if you just don't have enough time in the day to be a
Mhm.
financial professional on top of everything else. You know, I think
Yeah.
it's to kind of leave it in someone's hands that you trust. But
Mhm.
I think it's gaining that trust that's going to be quite difficult, and also um, finding a value proposition that can help differentiate themselves from AI. Um, I think everything is going to change, even like the way we see the stock market and day trading and all that. So identifying a competitive advantage and adding value is going to be very particular. But if you can solve those problems and answer that question clearly and distinctly, I think there's a tremendous amount of value to be added. And the same goes with even my business. Like we're really trying to be more of a lifestyle business, not some great big startup that's conquering the world and serving as many people as possible. I think the quality over quantity thing is really important, and this is something that any advisor or wealth manager can really key in on. It's like, hey, like I am a specialist, and I am the perfect fit for you to think of X, Y, Z. Like this, but
Mhm.
you're my avatar, my target market
Mhm.
for it's because I had a tremendous amount of value for X, Y.
Yeah. Well put, my man. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. My final question for you is an open-ended. Uh, you can take it in any direction that you like. And the question is, what are you working towards?
Definitely freedom, I think is like to not sound like I mean I'm in Barcelona, I'm not like a hardcore street or something. But you know, I think this idea of personal sovereignty and being able to do what fulfills you the most when it fulfills you the most, is so I mean, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like you really want to try to make sure you set a foundation where like kind of those bottom lower needs are autonomous and they're being met autonomously due to all the work you've done in your early years when you have all this time on you, and the idea is, when you build a family, when you get married and you do all those things, you want to be able to be present with the people that you love and invest in relationships with your friends and your community and all these great things. Like I mean, it's almost like why get old and get all this wisdom if you don't even have time to fucking share with anybody? I don't know. Like it seems the whole point of this game that we're playing. And I think people forget like the top of the pyramid, which is self-actualization, So I really want to tailor and build a life that will kind of allow me the resources to continue to like learn and heal myself into the best version of myself for the world, to be the best leader I can be, the best father, husband, brother I can be, and
Mhm.
I think if you're setting your that's an expensive game to play, technically. Like if you're looking at time, it's incredibly time intensive and it requires a severe, or I should say like an intense like presence. Like you need to be present and aware of your day to day. And if you can build a life that sustains that, I think it's so easy for the rest of the things to kind of fall into place for you, because you're mentally, physically, and spiritually as healthy as you can be, and that's something that can take you miles in anything that you want in life. I mean, it's
Mhm.
contagious. People see it, people feel it, and it can bring you so many opportunities in that alone. So everything you can do to set up that foundation for that, I think is I don't know. Well, I fully optimizes the human experience, and I believe that the human experience is why we're here on this earth. Like life is meant to be experienced. You cannot experience life if you don't have the time to experience it. Like ultimately, time is the ultimate bank account, and you know we 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 uh we have to do everything we can to extend the life of that as much as possible.
Mhm. Absolutely, man. Well put. You should probably have your own podcast, Max. Where can our audience find out more about you and RenteR?
But yeah, that's the goal, man. As soon as I think we hit 7 figures in revenue, then I'll probably start trying my best to guide people and teach people and do everything I can to leave my legacy and make the world a better place. That's why everyone appreciates what you're doing as well, Chris. I'm on Instagram at MaxLevy_VII. That's pretty much the only thing I'm kind of active on, and I'll post some inspiration stuff or some sort of lifestyle stuff. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Maxwell J Levy, if you want to reach out and connect, or Facebook's your thing. I do hire them so much. But yeah, or you can always email me as well, max@renter.digital. And don't look at the landing page because our funnel is mostly social media. The landing page is more for social proof right now. But we will actually, by the time this podcast comes out, hopefully we'll probably have everything 100% and maybe a better Google presence. But for now, social media has been awesome for us, and we're getting a ton of leads through that, and we're serving the community that way. So it's been more than adequate for the time being. But yeah, I love helping people, and I'm always looking for a new challenge. So feel free to reach out to me, go up my way.
Awesome, man. Well, Max, this was great, man. I can super relate, and everything you're saying feels like it's coming right out of my own head and experience. So thanks for taking the time to share your experience with me and my audience today. And to everybody out there listening, thanks so much for tuning in, and keep on growing out there, everybody. See ya.